what's happening? This is Billy at hardware.com. We're here to talk about protecting your investment. Plain and simple. If you haven't heard about using a riser plate on metal boards yet, then you don't even know. We're here to make sure you do. This is going to protect your investment. It's going to give you about 5 millimeters worth of lift, create some more leverage, and it's going to make the best out of these beautiful metal boards that we're all privileged enough to ride. Coming up next. The product we're talking about making today is nothing more than a riser plate. Now, the riser plate is going to stop one problem from happening, and the problem is just what happened to this poor Kessler that I used to race on. You can see right here there's clearly the imprint of an F2 binding. This binding was direct mounted onto the board, created a dent, hinge, created a weak point, and fractured. Now originally all of the damage wasn't this full top sheet fracture. This happened while packing the board back up into my board bag to bring it home after the event. But the board fractured like most metal boards do. This is the most common type of fracture we're seeing. And what we're doing is we're taking this plate, setting the plate over this point, and decreasing the amount of pinpoint pressure that's made right here at this binding angle. Alright, I'm really looking forward to riding a handful of boards this year. 3 of them are lined up right here behind me. This is going to be a prior, totally sick, absolute custom shape race stock parallel GS stick. I am not going to ride this without plastic plates. This is my personal Kessler. It's my parallel GS stick. As you can see, that's all it's been ridden with. This board has never had bindings directly mounted to it, nor will it ever. This is a virus that Frank really hooked us up with. We love this board. We've ridden this board with plates, as you can see from the imprint. We've also ridden this board without plates. We haven't had any denting issues on this binding, but we refuse to have any. This board's actually made with .004 Titanal. These boards are made with .003. This board's got a little thickness advantage, but we're still not going to run the risk. We're going to run these plates. Alright, you guys are really going to need a handful of tools. Starting off, you're going to need either a pattern or something you can make a template out of. We're going to have this pattern exactly on the website. You'll be able to download it, print it out, and you can use it. We're going to just use this template. You're going to need drill bits. You're going to need starting from a small bit all the way up to and maybe over 1/4 inch in size. All depends on how much play and how good your holes are when you use your template. You're going to need something to cut with. We're going to show you a couple different saws that we're going to use to cut with, but anything that cuts wood should work just fine on all of these plastic products. And you're going to need the product stock. We're going to start off first. This is a polypropylene product. It's 5 millimeters thick. It is courtesy of CAD Rails right here in Salt Lake City. This is exactly what they use in the snowboard park to slide on. It's just polypropylene. It's the same material as a cutting board. You can find this pretty much anywhere. Thickness is up to you, but like I said, at least 5 mils. You can see we've got a 5 mil here. This one's a little thicker. We're going to try to cut both of these to show you guys what different thicknesses work. This is simple. All you need to do is take your template and trace it. Do not forget your mounting holes. And that's all there is to it. We're going to use this and start cutting it out. Alright, this stuff's plastic. Use your common sense when you're cutting it. Put something on your eye so you don't get stuff in there. Pick whatever saw you want to use. It could be a little portable rotary, it could be a full-size skill, could be a nice little jigsaw. Heck, if you got a bandsaw at home with the right blade, you can cut right through this. I'm going to use 2 different saws and show you how easy it is to cut this. We're going to start off with a skill saw, and I'm just going to rip down this edge here real quick to show you how nice this plastic cuts. Went through here like butter. All I wanted to show you is that you can cut with this saw, no problem. We're going to use the jigsaw because it's going to cut through a whole bunch easier. It's going to make our cuts a lot more accurate, and it might just be a little safer. But this is all you have. You can get away with it, and you can use it. We can cut right through this plastic, no problem. One rough cut riser ready to be trimmed. Alright, the next thing you want to do is sand these things down. Clamp two of them together to kind of make it easier for me. I'm really going to move the product in the sander. Okay, so we use our belt sander to smooth out the edges. The next step we want to do is make sure that we angle the edges. We don't want a 90-degree edge. We don't want this section here to pinch against the board. We want to round everything off. So we're just going to use the belt sander to smooth out all the edges, all four of the plates we've made so far. Alright, now that we got these at a nice smooth angle so they're not 90 degrees anymore and they won't create any pressure point loading on the board, all we got to do is drill them. Simple. If you're lucky enough, you might still have the original dots remaining from your template, but if not, just utilize your template again, stack it on top, see how good of a job you did. Trusty Sharpie.
More holes, right there.
Alright, so we got our holes marked out. If you're not feeling real comfortable with your holes, just make sure you're double checking it with your template. If you've already built one and you're comfortable with it, you can use that second one on top of it to help you line up your holes. Just be careful you don't over drill the size of these holes. It's basic carpentry. I'm not very good at it. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm going to start with a smaller bit, find the middle of my holes. Little holes drilled. I'm just going to check again. Now I know these holes are going to be oversized, so I'm really not that worried about them. We're not trying to make this exactly where the board manufacturers make a 4x4, but we're going to get it pretty dang close. Just going to move. Alright, so now I'm coming in after this thing a 5/16 bit. Right in the middle, using the pilot hole. Like butter. This polypropylene's gotta be the easiest stuff to work with. Back out. Back out. Here we go. One plate. Let's see if it fits. You have no problem getting screws through there. Put our bindings right on there. Alrighty, so the only types of plastic we really recommend for these plates is going to be polycarbonate, which is Lexan, Macular. It's got a bunch of different names, but it's a polycarbonate product. Or this polypropylene. Both of these products are soft, supple, flexible. They're not going to alter the flex of the snowboard too much. You may feel a difference at first, but it's just going to be the difference between you increasing that pressure point, making the board ride better. You're going to gain some elevation, which means you're going to create more leverage, and you're going to prolong the life of your metal board. These plates are worth every penny. So far, this one's cost us nothing. Alright, the very last thing you need to do is get the right hardware. So it's simple. Whatever the thickness of your plate is, that's the hardware extension you're going to need. If you've got M6 hardware, you're going to use M6 hardware. That's a standard screw at all snowboarding. You're just going to have to get the right length. So if you've got a 5mm plate, get a screw that's 5mm longer than the screw you use to mount your bindings now. Remember, if you're using F2 bindings, you might want to take the time and get a lock washer. You look at the bottom of those bindings, those things are knurled in the screws. So by going to a lock washer for the F2 product, you'll be good to go. Alright, so simple, easy. Dave and I spent about 10 minutes making one set of these plates. I learned you could double stack the plastic and make two at a time after that. Ripped right through them, just using the stuff around the house. We used the drill with two different sized drill bits. We used a jigsaw with a regular wood blade. We could have used a circular saw. I think any saw will cut through this nice soft polypropylene. We chose to use polypropylene today. Either way, polycarbonate or polypropylene, your call. You can see if you want to set them up for a goofy footed rider or a regular footed rider. It's nothing more than flipping the plate over. This is simple, this is easy, and this is going to save your metal board. We hope you have fun riding your metal boards. We know we will. We'll see you on the snow.